Hey everyone, today on People Now, Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano's Twitter feud heats up after McGowan criticized the DNC. We'll explain. Kim and Kanye working to save their marriage. Sources tell us how Kim is staying focused amid their personal controversy.
My father was like a Donald Trump clone.
YouTube star Randy Rainbow shares surprising details coming out in his memoir, plus the exciting new duets fans are going to love.
When you want to know if something's ready, you want to make sure it's not overripe, so mushy, but you want to feel a certain heft to it.
And if you're all about making the most of the farmer's market on these gorgeous summer days, Rachel Ray In Season Magazine has you covered. We've got all that and much more coming up today on People Now. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome to People Now. I'm Jeremy Parsons in New York. So good to see you. I got the green smoothie going. I hope you found something to get your Monday off to a good start, kind of get you energized for the week. We've got so much to get to today. Here's what you need to know and what's trending. Gabrielle Union is opening up again about her America's Got Talent exit, alleging that the whole process was really brutal. Union was speaking at a panel at the 2020 American Black Film Festival, where she revealed that her most difficult business dealing to date was being fired from that show. According to USA Today, Union shared with the audience that the firing was so surprising, heartbreaking, frustrating, and unnecessary. She added that her exit felt like a public flogging. Union previously alleged that she was fired from the show after just one season because of her refusal to remain silent in the face of a toxic culture. Last November, it was confirmed that Union and Julianne Hough would not be returning to the show as judges for the new season. But Union seems to be doing just fine with the help of her family. On the same day as the panel, she shared pics of herself alongside daughter Kavya, where the two are both rocking bathing suits, enjoying the pool, having a fun time. In this snapshot, the two are poolside as Kavya is sitting on top of Union and holding her hats. Union tagged her daughter in the caption where she wrote, "My ride or die." Super adorable. Rose McGowan is calling out former co-star Alyssa Milano for alleged past toxic behavior on the set of Charmed. The actresses sparred on social media over the weekend after McGowan criticized Democrats for achieving nothing following the final night of the Democratic National Convention. Milano was quick to respond. She wrote in part, "Rose, your lies are going to hurt people less privileged than you. It's the kind of thing an actual fraud would do. Thousands of people are dying a day, but you go on with your hyperbolic attention-seeking tweets." McGowan then accused Milano of having stole the hashtag #MeToo from founder Tarana Burke for fame and added that Milano is jealous of McGowan for outing her rapist. She also called out Milano for allegedly being difficult to work with on Charmed. She accused Milano of throwing a fit in front of the crew and yelling that she doesn't get paid enough. She added, "I cried every time we got renewed because you made that set toxic AF. Now get off my coattails, you bleeping fraud." That was McGowan's tweet. But Rose McGowan didn't stop there. In a follow-up tweet on Sunday, she posted a screenshot that shows Milano blocked her on Twitter. A rep for Milano tells us, hurt people. Commenting any further doesn't align with my wellness plan." A rep for McGowan did not immediately respond to People's request for comment. Now, in the wake of the hashtag #MeToo movement, both McGowan and Milano have become outspoken warriors against sexual harassment and assault in Hollywood. But in February 2018, during an interview with Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang, McGowan questioned Milano's involvement in the cause, saying, "I don't like her because I think she's a lie." After the interview, Milano issued a statement to Nightline saying her goal with both hashtag #MeToo and the Time's Up movement has been to use my platform to give others a voice so we can all work together to stamp out sexual harassment and sexual assault. Kim Kardashian West continues to spend time with husband Kanye West as the two work on their marriage. Kim shared a handful of pictures on Instagram over the weekend that featured her and Kanye on what looked to be a nature-filled family outing. In one of the photos, Kim is posing with Kanye, sister Kourtney Kardashian, and family friend Harry Hudson. Two other snapshots show Kim on a paddleboard with 7-year-old daughter North, and Kim captioned the slideshow with a simple surfing emoji. The new photo of the couple together came just days after Kanye posted a video of the two during what looked to be Kanye's Sunday service concert. The video shows the two coming together in the middle of the video frame, and the couple's marriage has been strained this summer after Kanye launched an unlikely bid for president of the United States in July. He divulged personal details about his family and marriage at his first campaign rally and online. Sources have said that Kanye's campaign comes amid a news cycle in his bipolar disorder. Earlier this month, the couple flew to the Dominican Republic with their 4 children. A source told People at the time that the focus was on their marriage during that trip, and added that Kanye has made it clear that he will continue to run for president. Kim is not happy about it, but this isn't her focus. She just wants to do what's best for the kids, and she thinks finding a way to save her marriage is what's best for them. That's according to the source.
Stay with us. Satirist and comedian Randy Rainbow is opening up about his second Emmy nomination and his hit YouTube series. Plus, fall is right around the corner, and it's the perfect time to visit your local farmer's market. We are getting some tips on what you should know before you pick up your seasonal produce.
What are you going to wear?
Why?
Wear your red dress.
That's an evening dress.
It's dinner. That's evening.
Mama.
If you have to see Joel, then he has to see you. And if he has to see you, he should see what he's missing.
That is not what this dinner's for.
You're a single woman now. That's what every dinner's for.
Marin Hinkle is so good in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and she's the latest celeb to swing by PeopleTV's Couch Surfing, where she shares some behind-the-scenes stories from some of her most iconic roles. She opened up to host Lola Ogunike about when she first met Rachel Brosnahan. Watch.
From the second I read the pilot, it felt like it was so brilliant and so funny. Yes. And Rachel Brosnahan, when I met her, is such a special, unique human. And I thought, I hope the world responds the way I'm responding, but I actually never know. So I didn't have an idea at all. And oh, this is funny. We were invited to the Golden Globes that year and we were sitting really far back. So I don't think anyone thought we would win. And I remember they called our show's name. We actually won. And you could tell everybody turned around like, wait, who are they? Like, what is that show? You know? So we, at the point that we were even starting to garner some real attention that way, I don't even think the audience had caught on yet.
Hinkle also reflects on working with actress Joey King in the horror film Quarantine when King was a little girl. Hinkle's reaction to rewatching the bite scene is amazing. Take a look.
The dog spread the infection through his cell. You just gotta check. Let him do a check, ma'am. That's all we gotta do is...
That's all she has. It's just a little bronchitis.
I think she bites me. Oh my God, do you know who that is? Do you know who that girl is? That is Joey King.
Joey King?
That's Joey King.
Have you kept in touch with Joey, or did you bump into each other at last year's Emmys?
Wait, how did you know that? Are you like, you are incredible. So what happened was I had seen her, star rise and rise, and it was absolutely no surprise to me, of course. And I said, I don't know if you remember me, and she was so delightful. She's like, of course I remember you. I bit you. I was like all over, I
turned you into a zombie.
I turned you into a zombie, exactly. I infected you. So she totally remembered. And I was with my son at the time and introduced them, and he had seen the kissing booth. And I think he was like more in awe that I had played her mother than of any other thing I've done. So it was lovely.
You can see Marin Hinkle dive into more of her roles on Couch Surfing, now on PeopleTV.
Come along, she's finally come to save the day.
If you're not following Randy Rainbow on YouTube, you have to. What are you doing? I chatted with Randy about his second Emmy nomination for Outstanding Short-Form Variety Series, where he finds constant inspiration and a celebrity following. Watch. So first of all, congratulations, the Emmy nomination, your second one. How are you feeling? Did you get to celebrate by yourself? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's bittersweet to say the least. It's very exciting, of course, but then you realize, oh, I can't go down the street and have a drink with my friends or anything. So, there was lots of phone calls and stuff like that. And then I got on my treadmill and took a shower, and that was the end of that. There was not much in the way of celebration, but it's super exciting.
Very exciting. And it must feel good knowing that you had this audience for your humor. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Oh my God, it means, especially in these times, it means everything. The fact that I am still able to create content and that I have this built-in base to play to, it saved my life, that I'm able to be creative and put out content like that and do my art and have it received. Also, I think, just the kind of the nature of the kind of content that I do being, somewhat political and talking about what's going on in the news at a time when people need some sort of relief and some, comedic relief. It's very nice to hear thank you so much from people, because it's just kind of a testament to how healing comedy can be, especially in times like these.
Yeah, and now you're doing talk shows. I saw you have a book coming out. Like, things are going really well for you. I'm always curious talking to people that started on YouTube or some of these platforms. Like, do you remember when you first released YouTube videos, what you were thinking, how you felt? Because that was over a decade ago, right?
It was just a decade ago that I was dating Mel Gibson. We've since broken up, and I'd rather not discuss that today. But that was my first sort of topical video. It was called Randy Rainbow is Dating Mel Gibson. And I had a blog 10 years ago, like everybody did. And I was just sort of starting to comment on hot topics and pop culture and things like that. And then this story with Mel Gibson broke. And if you don't remember, we don't have to play those tapes. But there were these tapes of him, on his ex-wife's answering machine. And I just had this idea to do sort of a sketch where I would walk around my apartment having romantic phone conversations with his racist, anti-Semitic, misogynistic rants. And this gimmick of mine was kind of born. And when I did it, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really have a plan. I kind of just wanted to put myself out there and show people that I could be funny and that I was a writer and a comedian and all of this stuff. And so now 10 years later to have some success, it's, it reminds you that we're all on some kind of path, whether we know it or not. But I didn't know what the heck I was doing 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, you're very involved in the series, executive producer, you're on camera, you even edit, which I recently have gotten into editing, and it's difficult. It is very difficult. Does it get overwhelming for you wearing all these hats?
Yeah, well, editing is, while it can be almost the most fun part of the process, it's also insane. I put out my stuff really quickly because the news cycle, as I don't have to tell you, is, very fast. So by noon the next day, the whole thing is different. So you got to be really quick. So I will write and sing and record and film for a few hours and then stay up all night editing. And editing yourself is like a very unnatural process because staring at yourself for that long, it's like you can't be objective at all. And by 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm just like staring at shapes and sounds and going, what is this? Am I funny? Is anyone gonna get what I'm doing right now? And so it's kind of weird, but it's fun. And I never really learned how to be an editor technically, officially. I just kind of taught myself through YouTube tutorials.
Your show is obviously very topical. And like you said, news cycle, it's turning over real quickly. I mean, how do you decide what's going to make the show? And talk to me a little bit about that process.
I pretty much just leave the news on all day long. And these days it's pretty easy to know what the subject or what the topic is going to be, because you can just look to social media and see what everyone's talking about. And I don't want to get political, you know me, but they're kind of just handing me nuggets.
Writing itself, basically.
It's writing itself, really. So that is really the least of my problems, deciding which to do. Coming up with which song I will use to attack the issue, that's really what it's all about.
Well, you've gained a lot of fans and a lot of celebrity fans, which must be really, really cool. I mean, you're talking Carol Burnett, Alan Cumming, Andrew Lloyd Webber, to name a few. Is there anyone that you really idolized that you found out was a fan or maybe reached out to you?
Well, everyone you just noticed. I mean, at this point, there's not been one hero that I idolized as a kid who hasn't reached out in some way. Steve Martin Short took me out for drinks, and like you said, Carol Burnett calls me now after I release every video. It's insane, and it's just the power of this social media thing. I've never left my house, and all these people know who I am, and that's the most thrilling part of it.
And Nancy Pelosi specifically requested you.
Why are you surprised by that?
I'm not surprised, but I mean, that's huge. I mean, I just can't believe, I would be so thrilled if Nancy Pelosi knew who I was.
It's amazing. Yeah, she invited me to be part of a fundraiser that she did, and it's thrilling. I have fan mail from Hillary Clinton hanging on my wall in the other room. So, it runs the gamut of people that I hear from, whether it be, from showbiz, the Hollywood side, Broadway legends that I've idolized, political people and news anchors and things like that. And, people like Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, no big deal. Super casual. What about some of the composers or other artists that you've sampled? Because I know that you use a lot of music from Broadway shows. You got Jonas Brothers in there, Despacito, Grease, and so on.
I do. Well, as far as the Broadway composers go, I'm happy to report I've pretty much heard from all of them, from Lin-Manuel Miranda to Stephen Sondheim, who came to see my show at the Beacon Theater here in New York, Andrew Lloyd Webber. They've all reached out and expressed their appreciation and have given their support, thankfully.
Election season already basically here. A lot is ramping up right now. I mean, what can fans of yours expect to see in the next few months? You have a busy few months ahead of you.
I do. I try to take it one day at a time, just following the news. I have a couple of exciting collaborations coming up that maybe I'll come back to discuss. I can't say anything yet.
Can you give a little teaser? Is it?
Well, when I talk about Broadway legends that I idolized, I'll be singing some duets in the coming month. That's all I can say.
Okay. Well, we're really excited about that. I mean, you released it.
Patti LuPone. Okay.
Ooh, Patti LuPone. Okay.
I didn't say it. You did.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
You released a Christmas album in November. Are you planning a second album or another big project soon like that?
Yeah, I would love to record more music. I'm so grateful that the fans appreciate the musical part of what I'm doing, because that's really my first love, is musical theater. So I'd like to release an album that's a little less parody, maybe some more mainstream standards, show tunes, things like that. But we are working on that right now.
And you have a memoir coming out, which is really exciting. I love memoirs, especially when they're really personal. It's coming out in 2021. So where are you in the process? You've started it. What is it going to look like?
Well, I've picked the title so far. I've typed out the title. That's
okay.
What I'm about. No, I've written a few chapters, and I'm working now with my new editor. This is all very new to me, so I'm excited to get into the process. But you know, it's an interesting thing writing a memoir, because I do want to be personal. I'm not Michelle Obama yet, so I don't want to take myself too seriously. This is sort of, you know, it's also just sort of going to be light and humorous and like that. But I have learned touring through the country over the last few years that I have fans who are interested in knowing my backstory. They like the work and they want to know who the hell this guy is, who does this thing and where he comes from, why he does what he does. So I want to get into some personal stuff. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we don't have to get too deep or anything, but
Okay.
What is something about you that you think is really going to surprise your fans that they might not already know?
I'm not going to come out of the closet on your program, but nice try. Well, I'm pretty much an open book as it is. I feel like I've shared everything on social media already. But I think they'll be interested to learn maybe about some of my childhood stories and some of the backstory. I won't get too deep into it because we'll need a shrink and I'll have to lie down on the couch. But my father was like a Donald Trump clone. So the fact that I have sort of become known in large part mocking him and taking him on, as it were, is kind of an interesting there's an interesting backstory there.
Definitely. Well, Randy, you're a busy guy. I mean,
I know, I gotta go. You're keeping me too long.
Congratulations on everything that you have coming up and going on. And for everyone at home, you can check out Randy Rainbow. Check him out on YouTube or at randyrainbow.com.
Well, guys, it can be easy to get overwhelmed when visiting your neighborhood farmer's market, but it doesn't have to be. And here to break down what you should be looking for while browsing your produce choices is Editor-in-Chief of Rachel Ray In Season, Lauren Iannotti. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining me today. And your setup looks fantastic. I'm hungry.
So much. Isn't this beautiful? I'm excited to do this, and then I'm excited to be done so I can eat all this beautiful food.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me just a little bit ago, oftentimes Rachel Ray is doing this kind of press. We've all been following as she had that house fire and everything. We wish her all the best. How is she doing, and how are you guys adjusting to the situation?
Well, you know, Rachel's a trooper. You know, she wanted to get back to work. She wanted to be. She did her cooking camp for kids last week, which is supporting the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. She's hurting. She lost a lot of things that are very important to her, but her family is safe. So she's really just focusing on gratitude. Gratitude for the first responders, gratitude for everyone who's helping and supporting, all the fans who've come out to support her. It's been beautiful. If you go on her social media, it's just a wonderful outpouring of support. So that's where her head is at right now.
Yeah.
Gratitude and getting back to work.
Well, that's really great, and we're glad to hear that she's doing well. So devastating, the situation for her. But today, we are talking about farmers markets. What do you love most? I can tell just by the look of the setup you've got that when you show up at a farmer's market, your adrenaline gets pumping and you're excited. What excites you the most about the process and about the experience?
Well, can I just say first, like, I wasn't always a farmer's market person, and I can see, like, I used to be kind of intimidated by them. I can see it's a sort of a world that you have to get yourself into and, like, you know, learn and to sort of understand. And at first it can be intimidating, and then you kind of breach it and you realize it's a wonderful place and people are super friendly and they're not all like sort of food snobs who don't know why you don't know what an egg, like a fairy tale eggplant is, for example.
And I just learned right before this, you've got one back there. It's a miniature little eggplant.
This guy, isn't it beautiful?
Look at that.
They're just adorable. So yeah, I mean, for me, I get excited to go to the farmer's market, and because I know I'm going to come home with a bunch of really beautiful food to prepare for my family and with my family.
Give us an overall guideline or two about what you look for specifically in the produce you're buying at a farmer's market.
So it's tricky right now because you can't grab things. My biggest piece of advice when things get better is to touch your produce and feel it. It's usually when you want to know if something's ready, you want to make sure it's not overripe, so mushy, but you want to feel a certain heft to it and a certain robust color, like whatever the color is supposed to be, like a deep but not too deep version of that.
And then I guess one of the things about farmers markets, oftentimes the produce isn't perfect like it is in the grocery store. That's kind of like the exchange of it and that kind of the joy of it, finding that real from the garden tomato or whatever. Tomatoes are a good example. If there's a little brown spot, a little bruising, does that mean we don't get that tomato at all? Like where do we draw the line there on imperfection on the item?
Oh my gosh, ugly produce is the thing right now. Don't you know about this? Like,
where have I been?
Yes, this is the trend. So yeah, no, we do not need perfection in our tomatoes. We need a perfect flavor inside the tomatoes. If you see marks on the outside, you can cut them off. If there are brown spots, there is some concern that there might be this toxin in it, so you definitely want to cut that off. But mostly you want your tomatoes. I mean, right now, tomatoes are crazy. They're so beautiful. There's so much variety. Heirloom tomatoes can often look kind of like they've gotten beat up a little bit, and they're still beautiful and delicious. So yeah, please don't discriminate against ugly tomatoes. They're the tastiest often.
Ugly tomatoes and ugly produce are our friends. What's in season right now? Cherries, strawberries? Or...
Well, where are you? I mean, it depends on
Well, it depends on the location, right?
Right now is a very good moment. We're in a very good moment. And then as the, I'm here like to sort of talk about also our fall issue. We're ahead of the game here because in fall, it's going to be a different scene at your farmer's market, and that's really where you're going to see more apples and more mushrooms and a lot more of that kind of stuff that goes into the fall. So the pumpkin, the butternut squash, more of the squash that you're going to go into your fall dishes. But so you just really want to know. You should ask the farmer at the farmer's market. Ask the person behind the counter, like what is really at its best right now, and they will tell you. And
well, you hit on it some there, but as we move into fall and we see the trends sort of shift. What are some of the highlight things that you're looking forward to seeing as the farmers markets change and adjust what they're offering?
So the biggest thing I'm looking forward to with fall is the humidity to end. And so I'll have more fun at my farmer's market. So I'm excited to that. But you will see a turnover into more hardy greens. Right now it's a great moment for herbs and delicate greens. You'll see more hardy greens coming down the pike. And you'll see, more of those fall vegetables that we love to cook fall dishes with, all your squashes, all your zucchinis, and just like apples everywhere. And of course, apple cider donuts, don't leave without them. If you haven't had them, they are
Of course, yes.
A little scoop of vanilla next to it. But yeah, I mean, right now, and corn, sort of late summer is when the corn is really going to be at its absolute best.
Okay.
So you get a lot of corn then. You can, we actually have some great recipes in the issue for corn pastas. People don't always think of that, but Rachel is, she's from the Northeast and she's of Italian American heritage. So there's a lot of corn and a lot of pasta kind of coming together in our issue. So we kind of love that too.
And tell me, you mentioned, squash and pumpkin. Are there some staple ways to cook those classics? Maybe some fun twists or just kind of the go-to thing that you guys recommend?
Yeah, well, I would say for pumpkin, carve it. We like to say, Rachel, right? Carve the pumpkin, cook the squash. Pumpkins, there are certain kind of pumpkins that you can cook with, like sugar pumpkin. They're a little bit harder to find. The pumpkins that we usually find are the ones that they're selling us so that we'll make a beautiful jack-o'-lantern out of them. So just take the seeds out of that. You know how to do that. You kind of take the seeds out, get rid of the guts, roast them in olive oil and salt, and you've got a beautiful treat. So we say like that's kind of what we want to do with our pumpkins. And then if you're gonna get some beautiful butternut squash, one of the hardest things to cut, so cut it carefully. You can go to rachelraymag.com. We can tell you, give you a step-by-step. But so cut it up and roast it, and then you can, once you've kind of roasted it, you can take it out of the skin and you can puree it. You can you've got it softer, so you can puree it with like a mixer, and then you can make soup out of it, and you can make a beautiful butternut squash soup, which like anybody can make. Even I can make it. No time at all, and I'm doing this, and I'm going to the farmer's market, and I'm taking care of my kids. So it's easy and delicious, and nothing screams fall more than the taste of butternut squash.
That's absolutely true. You mentioned a little bit ago, talking about some of the herbs that you can grab at the farmer's market. Give me your advice. Do you buy a clump of them, or do you buy the plants? What's your kind of go-to or best tip?
Very good question, and I think it sort of depends on how much you're going to be using.
Right.
The people worry about the clump because they're worried they're not going to use it all and it's going to spoil. A couple things about that. Actually, I have a little demo. So this is Rachel's tip. Rachel always does this. Herbs are stored like cut flowers. You don't need to like put them in a bag and put them in the freezer and get them cold. You put them in water and they will last for a number of days for you. And if you're using them and you're not using them all, then you can just cut them up and freeze them in olive oil in an ice cube tray. So you fill an ice cube tray like halfway with olive oil, you put your herbs in there, and then you've got these delicious like olive oil herby things you can drop into soups when you make them. We got all kinds of tips at Rachel.
That is a fantastic idea.
Well, so you never have to let herbs kind of just die in your fridge, right? There are ways to use them up. That said, if you're going to use a ton of basil, buy the plant. Buy the plant. Basil can grow in the sunshine on your counter for a while. They don't like cold. They don't want to be outside, so you'll keep them inside. Or if you have a little space outside, you can put them outside, and then you'll harvest it all summer, and then you'll have it back again next year.
Yeah, the basil is a friend of ours because it's pretty easy.
Yes, everybody, listen, I have a black thumb, and I can grow basil. So.
Yeah, everybody can grow basil. Lauren, thank you so much. This has really been great, and it's actually been very helpful. It really is. Thank you. All right, coming up tomorrow, Gavin Rossdale is dishing dad life and his band's latest album. It's called The Kingdom. Plus, world-renowned animal trainer Brandon McMillan is helping us celebrate National Dog Day a day early. He's telling us all about his virtual event that's highlighting our special bond with dogs. Love that. Can't wait. There's so much tomorrow. Hope to see you then. Thanks for being here today, guys. Have a great Monday.